Hey, how y'all doing today? Today is April 20th, April 22nd, 2020. I just got through watching this video about the worst cities in Michigan, and it was interesting. Of course, the guy did mention that the people in these cities were poor, and it's funny, you know. One of the cities that he named was Pontiac, Michigan, which I'm born and raised in. Quite a few of the other cities he's named, I visited and spent time in and had, hung around in. And maybe these are the worst cities depending on what you look like. Because I've been born and raised and lived in Pontiac all my life, and it's been a great city. But the problem is it's been stripped of everything, of all its finances, of all its resources, its police force, its fire department. We do have issues with politics, but what area doesn't? We have an issue with crime, but the funny thing is the surrounding areas around us seem to have an issue with crime too, but theirs just doesn't get reported like ours do. But, people like to put a blind eye up, and it's just easier to make the guy across the way look like he's worse, especially if he looks different, than to acknowledge the truth of what's currently going on, that my neighborhood is just as bad as yours. It's amazing how I always hear how my city, where I live, is one of the worst cities to live in. But they never talk about how they go out of their way to keep that city that way. How the surrounding areas pick up their homeless and begging people and drop them off in my community. How our community, Pontiac, is the county seat, so anytime something has to go to the major court, it goes to Pontiac, but that's not the way that the story is reported. Here in Pontiac, not here at the Pontiac courthouse at the county courthouse. No, here in Pontiac, because you want to make sure it's always got that bad stigma. It cracks me up when people say they don't notice the difference in the way the news is reported. But it's amazing right now when Trump's running around hollering fake news, all of a sudden the news is fake. But it's funny, it's what you want to pick and choose. Now, Colin Kaepernick wanted his right and freedom to speech, and he took a knee. But you told him he was wrong for that. And now you go and clog up the Capitol building with all your cars and guns and everybody out, and you say it's your right, your freedom of speech. It's amazing how you can see one person's right, but you can't see your own, or you can see yours, but you are blinded to somebody else's. You claim that somebody's trying to take your guns away, but you wanted to take his right to take a knee away. I sit back and watch the things that go on in my life, the things I've had to deal with, the times I've had run-ins with the police, and I knew they stopped me, because the only reason why they stopped me was because of the color of my skin. And then there were many times I was stopped and I did do something wrong. But there were so many times that I was stopped and I had done nothing wrong. There's been times I've rode with my Caucasian white friends and the stuff was wrong and they never had an issue. It's funny how we like to try to turn a blind eye to things and act like we don't see things and point the finger, look at them, they're bad over there. Why are they bad over there? What's the problem? People in these areas aren't not working because they just are lazy and don't want to work. You keep taking the jobs away. Or you bring a company here that only you bring your people in and won't allow us to work at. You do everything you can to make sure we're disqualified for the jobs. And oh, that's our fault. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you. It is our fault. But it's not entirely our fault. It is our fault because we don't go out and vote. But it's not our fault that you undermined and undereducated our schools to make sure that we weren't educated enough to understand why we should vote. There was a many of votes that we came out to try to vote for, and we were outvoted for millages to make our schools better. And it's not because everybody just don't vote. Some people, I understand, they didn't have kids, they didn't understand. But it still don't give you the right to mistreat somebody. It don't give you the right to look down on somebody. It don't give you the right to try to put somebody down because of their circumstances. Yes, we've made bad choices. But the difference between you and us, we make bad choices and we have to suffer the consequences of our bad choices. Y'all make bad choices and get to walk away with it. Let's not forget the kid who was too rich and couldn't understand the consequences of what he was doing. It's amazing how you'll pull up a case after case, black, 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 but then you keep missing all the ones about the crimes that you commit while you're trying to put a color on mine. Let's just admit, people make mistakes, people make crimes. It ain't got nothing to do with the people's color. It does have something to do with what you do to them. Because guess, everybody that lives here in Pontiac ain't black. Everybody that live in all the other areas you named ain't black. And everybody ain't black. But they are all poor. They are all struggling. And GM left. They stripped the cities. They took everything. And our leaders didn't make the right choices in making the adjustments. But you don't put the people in the cities down because of that. It's just my opinion. Think about if it was you. I mean, it's real easy to point the finger and dog somebody else and kick them while they're down instead of trying to figure out how to help them. Instead of trying to point out the worst cities in Michigan, how about you try to figure out how to help and make the worst cities in Michigan better if you think they're that bad? But see, you'd rather get fame and fortune from making somebody else look bad and pointing out their downfall. I hope it works for you, but I'll be praying for you. But best believe, Pontiac, Flint, Detroit, Ben Harbor, all these areas you name, we might be down, but we ain't out. We get up every day and we keep fighting and we keep on struggling and we make it through the day. The reason why we're even still here today is because the Lord has been with us. So, enjoy your video. But just know, you can't keep a good man down.